Brand new day. Welcome to 10 Reasons Why with Nick and Sneaky. Today we're going to do something a little different. I had the opportunity to do an interview with the mayor of Flint, Michigan. Check it out. 2.5 years ago, I decided to change my life. I was almost 300 pounds and very unhappy. I've been addicted to drugs and alcohol ever since I was 13. I was in an accident, I was hospitalized and told I would never walk again. I knew deep down I needed to change, and so I started a new journey. I have lost 84 pounds and I am completely sober. I found 10 reasons why to change my life. The number 10 is very important. Now I talk with others to share their 10 reasons why. So buckle up and take this journey with me. Let's go for a ride. The city of Flint announced a $500,000 investment for their opioid settlement funds for Insight Health Systems, expanding its medical psychiatric hospital. This increased their capacity from 19 to 70 licensed beds to help treat patients with substance use disorders. When I heard about this, I asked my producer to reach out and see if I could have him as a guest. He agreed to a conversation. Brand new day. Welcome to 10 Reasons Why with Nick. And I have an awesome guest today, Mayor Neely. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Normally we have 10 questions, but today we're going to have a normal conversation. It's not every day that I get to have a conversation with the mayor.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, we usually don't have these type of conversations, but I thought enough of your broadcast and what you do that we want to be able to share some new things, what we're doing as a municipality with you and for your broadcast. So, you know, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you as well. I was looking at the wall here. You met a lot of important people. It's pretty impressive.
You know, life's journey has brought me this far. I'm a broadcast engineer by profession, and I call it an accidental journey, but God makes no accidents, and so it brought us here. I worked in television for 27 years, a broadcast station here. I ran for city council, was very successful. I stayed there for 9 years, and then I ran for state office as a state legislator, state representative. I stayed there for 5 years. Into my third term, and then I ran for mayor of the great and proud city of Flint, and now I'm currently at the latter part of my second term, and I'm rerunning for a third term here. And life has been good. You know, it's been a blessed life, and we're doing a lot of good work to help people. And I know one of the things that I always say is that, you know, politicians are, as a name that doesn't really ring true to many people, but I don't consider myself that. I consider myself a statesman. And when people ask, what does that mean? I care more about the next generation than I do the next election. And I work proves here in the South City of Flint. We're doing so much great work to commune with communities in and around the city of Flint. And definitely one of the communities that we're reaching out to, I think what brought you to my door, is the recovering community. And definitely we've been doing a lot of great work with people with some addictions. And we believe an addiction is a disease. It's something that should not be stigmatized. And so we provide a level of help for that. And that's why we have a social-minded administration.
Yeah, that's what one of the reasons why I wanted to meet you, because I was, you know, really bad into drugs and alcohol. And I heard about you helping out with Insight, and I just thought that was really cool to help people like me that are overcoming addiction, that don't want to give up, that want to continue to put one foot in front of the other.
It's a blessing, and this is a ministry for you. Nick, I tell you, you know, it's a great thing to have people that care. And understanding that addiction is a disease, we provide treatment for it. And we have a great organization here called Insight. They provide lots of counseling, but also psych med. Great doctor, Dr. Shaw, the owner or chief operator of Insight, provides this. And what they're going to have here in this area is 70 beds to help people. We know people that's going through the trauma of addiction, that they don't get all the help that they need. And sometimes it's very difficult for people to be, you know, become well in the environment in which they became sick. And so sometimes they have to be able to get that additional support, that additional help. And so the city of Flint, through our opiate dollars that we received for lawsuit settlement from Big Pharma. We were able to provide a $500,000 grant to Insight to be able to help finish off those beds and provide a level of help that's not only just help the individuals or their families, but society overall. And so I thought that was really important. And so, this is sort of spirit-driven engagement. And so I'm a man of faith. I don't separate from that because I'm an elected leader. I have a strong faith, a strong commitment to a community in which I love. Born and raised here inside the city of Floyd, with my mother, father, my brother, married my childhood and teenage sweetheart. I've only lived in 2 homes my whole life. Where I was raised in the house that I currently live in with my teenage sweetheart, my wife of 34 years. Wow, Nick, that's a long time.
Yeah, you look a lot younger.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because
Probably because we got the same barber and everything.
same hairstyle, it saves us $300 a year. Yeah. And so you shave and just keep cutting it.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. So, insight's a good thing. I would fall down a lot. I was 24 years of this addiction and this disease. I'd try and I just try and fail, but I never gave up. And it was so important when I get around people that are like-minded, like going into a facility, you get away from everything. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm glad you guys were doing that. I'm glad to have met you, and I want to get involved with that.
Don, I'm just so happy that you share your story with people that may be going through addiction or mental health issues. Psych Man is not only about just addiction, but the psychological trauma that can take part going through the course of addiction. It really challenges people. Now, I don't psychoanalyze anybody because that's not my profession, but I just do want to help people. And we know that we have, people can dial 988 to be able to get that level of support, because mental health was real. We have a lot of people that consider self-harm as an antidote for their pain, and it's not that, but we promote, to be able to go get that support and that help by dialing 988, because many people have gone through that, and many of us been there, with those thoughts, and that we have to try to control. And definitely, there are people out there that can provide help, much like yourself, through this vehicle that you're doing now, that letting people understand that they're not alone. And then one of the reasons I have this picture, this footprints, is my favorite picture. And it's a spiritual, it's about God carrying us in those times when we can't hold ourselves up. I remember as a city council person, I had this hanging over my desk as a city council person. But I left to go be a state representative. I took the picture with me and hung it in my office. In between time, I hung it in my home. And now, as a mayor of the city of Flint, it's hanging in this office. So when I look up from my desk, I can see that even in those difficult times, the most darkest moments, we could actually physically see something that says we're being carried and supported. And so we definitely want to continue to be able to support people. We're going to go with you up into that. And I believe that we truly are sum of all of our parts, and we have a responsibility to one another. And we have to be able to reach out and be able to do that in a very positive way, in a very dark time in our journeys. Sometimes we meet a lot of people that's negative. You said something that like-minded people, and I know you probably experience sometimes that you go over to a friend's house or someone's house and they're just so negative. And when you leave, we feel very drained. And on the opposite, you go over to somebody's house, they're very optimistic and very engaging and very cheerful and encouraging. And when you leave, you feel recharged. And so we have a duty and responsibility to one another to continue to lift each other and support them.
That's why I'm doing this podcast, is because I listen to, on YouTube, different motivational speakers, and it really encourages me. And I thought, like the footprints, when I was younger, I seen that. Mm-hmm. And it stuck with me that God carries me during my hardest times. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't from, God in my life. And I just wanted to come on the podcast and just share my story and just encourage people to continue to move forward. Because if I could stay clean, sober, anybody can,
Absolutely, and you have to continue to champion that story for those that may be going through that journey in their life. And so we're encouraged every day, and sometimes we may bump into those individuals that may want to keep you into a space that's not productive for your life. But we have to be able to champion our way through this in a way. Congratulations on doing what you're doing, and also with your sobriety. Thank you very much.
So, would you mind telling me a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, it's a fabulous journey that I've had, and I tell you, going through life, you look for where you have talent and that you can execute upon those skill sets that God has given you, and then also to try to sharpen those skill sets. I love people, and one of those things I love in people, I want to help young people. I was a high school coach. I coached golf. I was also a high school counselor for technical education in our fund system. And also, I worked at a runaway shelter and Job Corps. Now, it's not like I was transient between these jobs. Most of my life, I've always worked two jobs, raising a family. That nuclear family where you want to have 2.5 children and a white picket fence, right? That's what they tell us. But my wife, now currently the state representative from the state of Michigan, Cynthia Neely, then she was a mother. And those are the titles that we hold dearest to us: the child of God, or husband or wife, father, son, or mother. And so we held those close to life. And so I've worked two jobs most of my life. And so one of those journeys in life where I worked two jobs, I was a high school counselor in secondary education, working with they call at-risk youth that needed some more wraparound services or input to give help get them up into it. We were very good at it, and I enjoyed it tremendously. Working in a runaway shelter, be able to help young people in their course of their life where it's very difficult. They felt they couldn't stay at home. They was disconnected from the family that they came to the shelter. We served in that capacity, facilitating those young people through that. And then Job Corps, which is known nationally, that's been engaged for the last 60 years or so. Worked there for a stint of time. And you learn about people, and you learn about engagement and how to communicate with young people. And I was able to bring all those skill sets to here, to the climactic moment of being a mayor of a challenged city. When we came, it was at the intersection of crisis, financially, a water crisis, a worldwide pandemic, and civil unrest. A perfect storm of many occasions, but I'm glad we're very blessed to say that we made it through. And I say it's the three P's that got us here: prayer, planning, and partnership. We prayed, we planned, and we looked for our partners, and we prevailed. And then another P, and the city of Flint is doing very well. And now we're continuing to move through the course of that journey, serving people, because the better it is to serve people and increase the quality of life here in our communities. And one of the biggest programs I'm so proud of is a program called RX Kids. RX Kids, RX is always the start of any prescription. If you know, it always starts with RX and it's prescription. The city of Flint was the first community that started RX Kids. And what it is it's a cash prescription for expecting mothers and early mothers, meaning that if a person is expecting, they get a cash stipend of $1,500 and then get $500 more every month of the first year of a baby's life. My true innocence are children. And we have to give them a fresh start, and making sure that we can bridge the gap between the barriers, especially about economic barriers, racial barriers, to be able to close the gap, to be able to give these young people true witnesses of a very healthy start. Since the time that we started it here in the city of Flint, it's been cloned more than 30 communities across the state of Michigan, and that's growing. And just last week, we were able to announce this. Again, this is great. This is great stuff, because the infant mortality ratio in America is that Black and brown babies die 4 times more than their Caucasian counterparts. It could be a level of many different things. Addiction could be one of those challenges. But in the city of Flint, the new data is in now that we cut the national average down by 50% here in the city of Flint. It's amazing. It is amazing. When we look at municipalities, we look at increasing the quality of life. But here we have increased life. And that is a blessing. And that is God-filled. And so continue to do these type of things in our communities, being the first. It doesn't bother us here in the city of Flint, but we're on that cutting edge and we're willing to make the chances, to make the goals and the strides to be able to help support families.
So I noticed. Am I telling you about this?
Well, this is Flint's newest employee. It's very efficient. They don't need medical benefits. They don't need a high salary. Well, in many places, you don't see a community that has a mascot. We have Flinny the Fox. And Flinny was developed because we have to be able to engage talking with our children and bridging the gap with our children. So this is police Flinny, as he has a blue jersey on. We have another Flinny that has a red jersey. So police officers use this to be able to engage children. Many times when police officers arrive to a scene, that's a level of trauma. And if mom and dad is in distress or somebody is in distress, sometimes children needs to be comforted. And so we use Flinty. And this has been used worldwide in many different ways. So if a firefighter could count as young people, Flinty's engaged. Police officers, Flinty's engaged. And it is a great mascot. And this is what we can do to communicate with children. And if people say, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why is municipalities doing that?" Because there's a gap here. And if we look at fictitious entities or like mascot, they work, right? When I was growing up, they had Smokey the Bear, right? What did Smokey the Bear say? Only you can prevent a forest fire, right? Or was he the giver who don't pollute, right? Or McGruff the crime dog. Only you can take a bite out of crime.
Yeah, things to remember.
Things you remember. How do we educate people up to be able to be productive citizens? Since that time, I don't know, Teletubbies are different. Barney, the purple dinosaur, is different. But we need to be able to have elements that we can communicate effectively with our youngest residents in our communities. And, we know that, drug use is bad. And so maybe Flinty can communicate that better than we can to a young person. And so this is an effective tool. And we use this to enhance the quality of life for residents and also to be able to pass on fruitful and messaging that we need to communicate with our young people. So it's been working.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's great too.
Yes.
So what I like to ask my guests are, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
Man, just keep smiling, keep living. Don't stress. The Bible says, "Let tomorrow worry about itself." Live life, and I'm just so very grateful and thankful that I had the opportunity to serve people in many different capacities in many different ways, and I've been with my wife going back to that age, and I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it, And I think the main ingredient in our relationship is like we like each other. And love is important and very, very important. But if you don't like somebody, it's really difficult to really love them. And so we like and enjoy each other. So the messaging that I would give myself is just continue to enjoy life and don't stress so much about the things that you cannot control. But the things that you can control, engage them with a love of optimism in your heart and in your mind.
That's great. And just really wanted to say thank you for allowing me to come out and speak with you. The addiction has a lot of shame and guilt, and low self-esteem and low self-worth. And now that I'm in recovery and I'm surrounded by winners and doing this podcast and moving forward in my life, it feels really good to be able to meet you and come here and, feel equal. And so I really appreciate you coming out.
You're very welcome. And just all of your listeners and viewers, just let them know that they're not alone. You're not alone out here. There's loads of help and people that care and love you, and just always remember to breathe those deep breaths and remember that you're never alone.
Thank you very much. So thank you all my viewers for coming in with the mayor. And I appreciate you coming out. And remember, it's a brand new day.
Hey, this is Nick. I made this podcast so I can encourage people to continue to put one foot in front of the other. Hit like and subscribe so we can spread the message.